The Yule Feast. 1 month of every year, the Yule month, or Thor's month, was considered sacred to Frey as well as to Thor, and began on the longest night of the year, which bore the name of Mother Night. This month was a time of feasting and rejoicing, for it heralded the return of the sun. The festival was called Yule, or Wheel, because the sun was supposed to resemble a wheel, rapidly revolving across the sky. This resemblance gave rise to a singular custom in England, Germany, and along the banks of the Moselle. Until within late years, the people were wont to assemble yearly upon a mountain to set fire to a huge wooden wheel twined with straw, which, all ablaze, was then sent rolling down the hill, to plunge with a hiss into the water. Some others get a rotten wheel, all warning cast aside, which, covered round with straw and tow, they closely hide, and carried to some mountain's top, being all with fire light, they hurl it down with violence, then dark appears the night, resembling much the sun, that from the heavens down should fall. A strange and monstrous sight it seems, and fearful to them all. But they suppose their mischiefs are all likewise thrown to hell, and that from harms and dangers now, in safety here they dwell. By now Garrigus. All the northern races considered the Yule Feast the greatest of the year, and were wont to celebrate it with dancing, feasting, and drinking, each god being pledged by name. The first Christian missionaries, perceiving their extreme popularity of the feast, thought it best to encourage drinking to the health of the Lord and his 12 apostles when they first began to convert the northern heathens. In honor of Frey, boar's flesh was eaten on this occasion. Crowned with laurel and rosemary, the animal's head was brought into the banqueting hall with much ceremony, a custom long after observed, as the following lines will show. Caput apri de ferro, reddens lauds dominio. The boar's head in hand bring I, with garlands gay and rosemary. I pray you all sing merrily, qui estis in convivio. The Queen's College Carol, Oxford. The father of the family laid his hand on the sacred dish, which was called the Bar of Atonement, swearing he would be faithful to his family and would fulfill all of his obligations, an example which was followed by all present. From the highest to the lowest, this dish could be carved only by a man of unblemished reputation and tried courage, for the boar's head was a sacred emblem which was supposed to inspire everyone with fear. For that reason, a boar's head was frequently used as ornament for the helmets of northern kings and heroes whose bravery was unquestioned. As Frey's name of Fro is phonetically the same as the word used in German for gladness, he was considered the patron of every joy, and was invariably invoked by married couples who wished to live in harmony. Those who succeeded in doing so for a certain length of time were publicly rewarded by the gift of a piece of boar's flesh, for which, in later times, the English and the Viennese substituted for a flitch of bacon or ham. You shall swear by custom of confession, if ever you made nuptial transgression. Be you either married man or wife, if you have brawls, or contentious strife, or otherwise at bed or at board, offended each other in deed or word, or, since the parish clerk said amen, you'd wished yourselves unmarried again, or in a 12-month and a day, repented not, in thought anyway, but continued true in thought and desire, as when you joined hands in the choir. If to these conditions with all fair, of your own accord you will freely swear, a whole gammon of bacon you shall receive, and bear it hence with love and good leave. For this our custom at Dunmow well known, though the pleasure be ours, the bacon's your own. From Brand's Popular Antiquities. At the village of Dunmow in Essex, the ancient custom is still observed. In Vienna, the ham or filch of bacon was hung over the city gate, whence the successful candidate was expected to bring it down, after he had satisfied the judges that he lived in peace with his wife. but was not under petticoat rule. It is said that in Vienna, this ham remained for a long time unclaimed, until at last a worthy burgher presented himself before the judges, bearing his wife's written affidavit that they had been married 12 years and had never disagreed, a statement which was confirmed by all of their neighbors. The judges, satisfied with the proofs laid before them, told the candidate that the prize was his, and that he only need to climb the ladder placed beneath it and bring it down. Rejoicing at having secured such a fine ham, the man speedily mounted the ladder, but as he was about to reach for the prize, he noticed that the ham, exposed to the noonday sun, was beginning to melt, and that a drop of fat threaded to fall upon his Sunday coat. Hastily beating a retreat, he pulled off his coat, jocosely remarking that his wife should scold him roundly were he to stain it, a confession which made the bystanders roar with laughter, and which cost him his ham. Another Yuletide custom was the burning of a huge log, which had to last through the night. Otherwise, it was considered a very bad omen indeed. The charred remains of this log were carefully collected and treasured up for the purpose of setting fire to the log of the following year. With last year's brand, light the new block, and for good success in his spending, on your pastries pay, that sweet luck may come while the log is a-trending. From Herrick's Hesperides. This festival was so popular in Scandinavia, where it was celebrated in January, that King Olaf, seeing how dear it was to the northern heart, transferred most of its observances to Christmas Day, thereby doing much to reconcile the people to their change of religion. As god of peace and prosperity, Frey is supposed to have reappeared upon earth many times, and to have ruled the Swedes under the name of ingvi-frey, whence his descendants were called Ynglings. He also governed the Danes under the name of Fridleif. In Denmark, he is said to have married the beautiful maiden Frey Gerda, whom he had rescued from a dragon. By her he had a son named Frodi, who, in due time, succeeded him as king. Frodi ruled Denmark in the days when there was peace throughout the world, that is to say, just at the time when Christ was born in Bethlehem of Judea, and because all his subjects lived in amity, he was generally known as Peace Frodi. As a side note, there are still some places which roll great wheels of cheese down hills, similar to the burning wheel mentioned earlier in this video. So that was the Yule Feast, the 5th section of Chapter 9 of Myths of the Norsemen by Helene A Guerber, Frey. I will be working my way through this book section by section, and if there are any other public domain books that you would like for me to read, please leave a comment below. Did you enjoy this video? Then subscribe for more, and be sure to check me out on Facebook and Patreon. Thank you for listening, and have a lovely evening.